Imagine this, over 20,000 websites, all using a popular tool to make their sites look amazing. Now imagine a secret backdoor was intentionally built into that very tool, just waiting for someone to find it. This isn't a movie plot. It's a real threat that was hiding in plain sight. Let's dive in and see how this digital heist was set up. So what you're looking at is just a number, 9.8 out of 10. In the world of cybersecurity, a number this high is, well, it's basically a 5-alarm fire. But what does it actually mean? It means this vulnerability scored a critical on the severity scale. A 9.8 isn't just about an attacker getting a peek inside your system. Oh no, it means they get the keys to the entire kingdom. They can become a full-blown administrator instantly. No password, no invitation, no authentication needed whatsoever. So how did anyone even find this? Well, let's treat this like a digital crime scene and start examining the evidence that was left behind. Okay, so here's the official report. The vulnerability's technical name is unauthenticated privilege escalation, which is just a fancy way of saying someone can make themselves an admin without proving who they are. It was found in the LA Studio Element Kit for Elementor, a plugin running on over 20,000 websites. But the most crucial detail on this slide? That patched version number, 1.6.0. Remember that one. To really get that 9.8 score, think of the CVSS system like a Richter scale, but for digital threats. You know, a score of 4 or 5 might be a noticeable tremor. A 7 is a serious quake, but a 9.8? That's the big one. It means a vulnerability is incredibly easy for a bad guy to use, and the damage it can cause is absolutely devastating. Now, you'd probably assume a threat this severe came from some sophisticated, shadowy hacking group, right? But the investigation uncovered something way more unsettling. This threat didn't come from the outside at all. It came from within. And here's the shocker. According to the plugin's developer, LA Studio, this backdoor was deliberately planted by an employee right before they left the company. So this wasn't an accident, it wasn't a coding mistake, it was a malicious, intentional act. And check out this timeline. It shows just how fast things can move. In late December 2025, the bad code is planted. It just sits there, like a ticking time bomb, until security researchers discover it on January 12th. But look how quickly the good guys jumped on it. Protection was available for some folks the very next day, and a full patch for everyone was out just 2 days after it was found. That is an amazing response time. Okay, so we know who did it and when it all went down. But how did they pull it off? Let's get into the mechanics of this attack, because it's both incredibly simple and, kind of deviously clever. It all boils down to this one secret phrase, Lackit BK roll. Think of this as the secret knock. If you included this little piece of text when you signed up for a new account on a website, it told the site to, open the secret door to the VIP room. The attack itself is just beautifully simple. An attacker doesn't need to steal passwords or find some complicated exploit. Nope, they just sign up for a new user account just like anyone else, but they tack on that secret parameter. And just like that, boom. They're not a regular user anymore. They are instantly promoted to a full administrator with complete control. So how on earth does a backdoor like this go unnoticed? How does it slip past all the security checks and code reviews? The answer really comes down to one word: obfuscation. Obfuscation is basically the art of hiding in plain sight. The malicious code was intentionally written to be super confusing. It was all jumbled up to blend in with thousands of other lines of perfectly normal code. The whole point was to make it look like nothing important so no one would ever bother to look twice. All right, we've looked at the crime scene, we've seen the weapon. Now for the most important part of all. How do you lock the door and make sure you're safe from this? First, you gotta understand what's really at stake here. An attacker with admin access isn't just gonna mess up your homepage. They can upload malware, steal all your user data, redirect your visitors to scam sites. They can do anything they want. They have total control. The bottom line is, you need to fix this like yesterday. And here it is. This is exactly how you do it. Go check your WordPress plugins right now. If you are using the LA Studio Element Kit and the version number is 1.5.6.3 or anything lower, you are vulnerable. You have to update to version 1.6.0 or higher immediately to be secure. It's really that simple. So updating the plugin fixes this specific problem. But the story doesn't really end there. The real takeaway from this whole mess is about a danger that's much, much harder to patch. This entire event was caused by what's known as an insider threat. This is a security risk that doesn't come from some random stranger on the internet, but from someone you trust, or at least you used to trust. These are incredibly difficult to defend against because these people already have access and they know exactly how your systems work. So, this leaves us all with one final and really critical question. You've updated your software, and that's fantastic. But have you thought about your human processes? Is your procedure for when an employee leaves the company as secure as it needs to be? Because as this story shows us, sometimes the biggest threat isn't trying to break in from the outside, it's the one that's already walking out the door.